Hello, and today we are talking about how to find the length of an arc of a circle. So quick do now question. For the two circles that you see below, try to write the equation of both of them and find the circumference of each circle. So pause the video and see if you can get the equation and the circumference of each circle. So remember, to write the equation of a circle, you need to know two things. You need to know the center and you need to know the radius. Okay, so looking at the first circle, actually both circles, the center is the same. The center is 2, 1, because here's the origin, 2, 1. Now the radius for AB is 2. So for circle AB, remember the general equation, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. H and k are your center, r is obviously your radius. So for circle AB, it's going to be x minus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 2 squared. And if you want, you can change that to 4. For circle CD, same center, but its radius is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So almost the same equation. The only difference is instead of 2 squared, we have 5 squared. Now circumference might be something you haven't done in a while. Circumference is equal to pi times diameter. So for circle AB, well, if the radius is 2, then the diameter is 4. So we can leave this as 4 pi. That's fine. That would be just 4 pi units. We don't have any units. And then for circle CD, again, if the radius is 5, then the diameter is 10. So it would be 10 pi. And again, you can multiply by pi to get the actual number, but we could just leave it as 10 pi for now. So obviously, circumference is going to play a part in today's lesson, so that's why we have it in our do now. So again, even though these circles have the same degree measure, they are not the same size. Every circle, it makes up 360 degrees, going all the way around the whole circle, but not every circle is the same size. So the length of an arc is the length of its portion of the circumference. So again, going all the way around, that was a poor choice of colors. Going all the way around the circle is the entire circumference. But if I just want to find this distance from A to B, that would be called the length of an arc. And it's a part or a portion of the circumference. So the way that we're going to find this arc length is we're going to use a proportion. Okay, and your proportion is going to look like this down here. Arc length over the entire circumference equals the angle that is made with that arc, so this angle here, over 360, because again, all the angles in a circle should add to 360. So again, here's your proportion down here, very important. The arc length that we're looking for divided by the whole circumference, part over whole, equals the angle that's made with that arc over 360. Again, part over whole. So the part that the arc length is out of circumference should be the same proportion as the angle out of 360. It's all based on a proportion. I'm going to run through 2 examples with you, and then we'll give you a couple to try on your own. Okay, first example here. Given circle O, and by the way, this little diagonal thing up there, that's how we denote an arc. Okay, so find the length of arc, AB, and arc, ACB. Now notice that the second one has a C in the middle and the first one doesn't. That's to tell me that the second one is the bigger arc, A to C to B all the way around, while the first one is just this little arc, AB. Okay, and together, the two of them should make up the whole circumference. Okay, so in order to find these arcs, I am going to have to find the circumference first. So let's do that. So again, C equals pi times diameter. And this time we'll multiply it because we're obviously going to need the number. And they told me my radius, which is this distance here, is 3, which means my diameter is 6. So this is going to be 6 pi. We'll put 6 pi in our calculator and we'll get back 18.84955. We really should have something to round this to. We'll round it to the nearest tenth. Why not? Okay, so there's my circumference. So let's start with arc AB. So AB over 18.84955 equals the angle that's made. That's this angle 100. out of a total of 360. So that's the proportion we're going to use here. Okay, we're going to cross multiply. We get 360 times AB equals 18.84955 times 100, which is 1,884.955. That's enough decimals. And then we divide by 360. And we get arc AB to be approximately 5.236, which is approximately 5.2 centimeters. They gave us units this time, so this is centimeters. Okay. Now we're going to use the exact same proportion to find arc ACB. The only difference is I'm not using an angle of 100. So what angle do you think I should be using for the other arc ACB? So hopefully you realized again that the whole circle has to make 360. So the other angle that we're using is this entire part, which is the rest of the 360. So the angle we should be using is 260, right? Because 260 plus 100 makes 360. So this proportion should be arc ACB over the same circumference, that didn't change, equals 260 over 360, right? So the arc changed, the central angle changed, but the circumference stayed the same. And again, we cross multiply. I still have my circumference stored in my calculator, so I'm just going to scroll up to it. Multiply by 260. I get 4,900.8845 equals 360 times arc ACB. And then I'm going to divide by 360. And I get arc ACB equals 13.6135. Now notice, if I add what I got for this arc and I add what I got for the other arc, together they should make up the circumference, which they do, right? 13.6 and 5.2 make up 18 and change, right? So it's good. We know we did it right. And again, I'll round this one to the nearest tenth. So that is how we find the length of arcs. Let's do one more guided, and then you guys will try a couple on your own. So, given circle O with diameter BOA equals 2, so this whole diameter is 2, which means the radius is 1, what do you think is the measure of BOA? So they didn't give me an angle, but it's a diameter, and it's going halfway through the circle. What do you think that angle should be? So again, it's halfway through the circle, right? So half of 360 is 180 degrees. So you actually have a 180 degree angle here and a 180 degree angle here on either side. That also means the two arcs, whether you find this arc AB or you find this arc AB, should be exactly the same, because again, they're both exactly half of the circle, so they should be exactly half of the circumference. But again, let's use the formula. So first we'll find circumference. So 2 pi times the diameter, which gives us 6.283185. And then we'll set up the proportion. Arc AB over 6.283185 equals 180 over 360. And again, we know our answer should be like 3 and change, right? It should be half of the circumference, but let's see if it works. 360 times arc AB equals 180 times the circumference, which gives us 1,130.973355. Divide by 360. And exactly what we thought happened. We got approximately 3.1415 or 3. Does it say it's around 2? They don't tell us what's around 2. So we'll just say 3.14 units. Okay. So hopefully that made sense. Now I'm going to give you a couple to try. I'd like you to pause the video and try each one before moving on. Okay, so try the first one and then unpause the video when you're ready. Okay, so for this one, I didn't give you a picture. If you need it, you can draw it for yourself really quickly. Okay, central angle of 20 degrees. We're looking for the arc radius of 6. Okay, I always need my circumference to get started. So this is 12 pi. Okay, now we set up our formula. So the arc over 37.699 equals the angle at a 360. Cross multiply 360 times our arc. $7,407.53.982 divide by 360, and you should get that your arc is equal to 207.6499, or approximately 207.6 units. Okay, now pause the video again and try number 2. So in this one, we're looking for the angle instead of the arc. Okay, I still need my circumference. So this is 8 pi, which equals 25.1327. We know the arc. We don't know the angle, but we know it's at a 360. So same idea, it's just different unknown. Cross multiply. 8,640 equals 25.1327x, and we divide by the circumference to get our angle. And we get an angle of 343.77 degrees. Last one here. Again, try it before moving on to see if you got it right. So for this one, they want us to find the circumference. That is going to be our unknown. The central angle is 10. 360 always goes under the angle. And we know the arc is 1 inch. And again, we're solving for the circumference. Cross multiply. 360 equals 10x. I don't need a calculator for that one. We know x is equal to 36 inches. Okay, so hopefully you guys got it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask your teacher.